I have no doubt about that.
Hey, we should grab a coffee or something, Olivia. You know, for old time's sake.
Pleasure to meet you, gentlemen. Goodbye.
Oh.
Please take a seat. The show's gonna start soon.
Stort. Okay. Da ist sie. Natascha. Er ist sofort verliebt. Ist das so toll. Sie kann es aber jetzt nicht Why Don't You Do Right singen. Oh, ist die toll.
Sonny. Sonny.
Chloe's still lying in my bed.
Oh yeah. Das ist echt, also das ist nicht ganz Jessica Rabbit.
Unique.
Oh Gott, hilf. Und das Schlimme ist ja, was mich da wirklich ein bisschen in Bedrängnis bringt, ist, dass das Gesicht und die Rasse halt eben genau mein Simba ist. Ne? Also, naja, kastrierter Kater.
Oh, that is cute. Nobody has ever given me such a unique compliment before.
Nee, Jessica ist unschlagbar. The sexiest woman not alive.
Forgive me, my name is Santino Featherland.
I thought so. You look more or less like I imagined.
Und der russische Akzent macht das Ganze nicht wirklich unironisch. Und guck mal, die spitzen Fingernägel, total toll.
More or less.
Sometimes less is more, Mr. Featherland.
You were amazing, dear, as always.
Could you be my little furball and fetch me a cocktail?
Dieses Cocktail und Cock und überhaupt und oh je. Ah, toll. Fellball. Süß.
Eben will be back soon. We'll have a few minutes to talk. Then he'll end the conversation and throw you both out.
Super.
With all due respect, ma'am, we're not that easy to get rid of. Doesn't matter who's trying, believe me.
Doesn't matter, he'll do it. That's why I'm telling you. I don't want a scene. My room's upstairs. Meet me there in 20 minutes. Come alone, Sonny. You'd be too conspicuous otherwise.
Ach Gott. Ach, wie toll.
I understand. You know, they call him Target Marty at the station.
I don't have time, Mr. Featherland.
Sure thing, Natasha. I'll come to your room. 3 knocks, a short pause, then another 3.
I'll be waiting. Go, before he comes back.
I knew she was trouble the first time I saw her. She wore danger like a perfume.
Oh, das ist unfassbar gut gemacht.
And it attracted me, like light attracts the moth people. I wanted to be the microphone as she whispers her melodies, or the pillow she rests her feet on while reading some cheap romance. I wanted to be her nightdress,
Ist aber gut.
touching, barely covering her marble skin. But I was a cop, and a lifetime wouldn't be enough to rid myself of what a woman like her hides under her makeup. Keep your distance, Sonny. Just keep your distance.
Ja. Erstmal gucken.
This woman's aware of her charm, and she knows how to use it. A rare and dangerous combination.
Alter Schwede.
How do you like your bourbon, Mr. Featherland?
In a glass. But thanks, I had a couple before I came. I feel like this may be a long night.
Warum hat er eigentlich die Hand immer so? Naja.
I hope it doesn't bother you if I have one myself.
Der Schwanz. Unfassbar.
I get offended if women don't drink in my company.
Oh, you are a funny guy.
So I've been told. Anyway, lovely room.
Yes. Look, Mr. Featherland.
It's sunny. Saves us a lot of time.
Okay, Sonny.
No.
So, why am I here?
You know, men tend to babble in my presence.
It must be exhausting.
It is. But you're not the type to beat around the bush.
Is it too banal if I tell you it's an occupational hazard?
Terribly.
So can I start the unpleasant questions?
I've asked you here so you can do what you do best.
Oh Gott, das ist alles so übersexy, das ist so übel.
Really? I thought you asked because you wanted me to investigate for you. But if you'd rather be drinking...
You do have a sense of humor. How reassuring.
Reassuring.
Only if I'm a bit hungover. That's usually quite common.
Oh, please drop the act about being the alcoholic, heartbroken ex-cop, Sonny. It would undoubtedly suit you, but I've seen you scanning my room. From the second you set foot in here, you started working, and everything I say gets sorted in your brain. Am I right?
That's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, it's something like that.
Well then, Sonny, come at me.
Oha, das Englische ist noch viel brutaler als das Deutsche.
Oh, that's something I don't hear often. With pleasure.
Ja, komm, mach. Gleich vernehmen.
Natasha is a confident woman. I can exploit that. But I must be careful. Every part of her oozes danger. That was a remarkable performance.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Do you perform here frequently? You're also the owner, if I'm not mistaken.
Sadly, I don't have the time, but the stage still calls my name, and I perform just a few times a year, and always with a new song.
So that was all the excitement.
I have many admirers, if that's what you mean. Yes.
The picture on the wall is quite daring.
Only if you knew how old I was at the time.
I think I'm on a slippery slope here.
Come on, don't be shy. Ask me.
Ask me.
All right. How old were you?
Did you really believe I'd tell you?
You're quite a player, aren't you?
Life is anything but a game, detective.
Alter Schwede, ist das ein Monster.
Now you tell me. What can you tell me about Ibn Wessler?
You should be more specific. What do you want to know?
Geschäft.
How much do you know about Ibn's business dealings?
More than most wives do. About as much as lovers would, but not that much. I see what I see, but I choose not to pay attention.
Maybe that's smart of you, maybe it's the opposite. In any case, you get the Clawville tone.
What do you mean?
Well, I've worked in a lot of cities and a lot of countries, ma'am. But the art of beating around the bush is masterful here. And you're a true artist.
I take that as a compliment, Mr. Featherland.
It was meant to be one, Miss Katsenko.
Das müssen wir fragen.
How does Ibn treat you nowadays?
Like a prince treats a princess. Maybe that sounds like a cliché.
A little.
He holds me in the hollow of his hand. He always has. He's never hurt me. He couldn't. Recently, he's been a bit distracted and nervous, but there's heavy weight on his shoulders right now. That's why I didn't want to burden him with any of this.
Distant and nervous. Could you elaborate?
Ibn is devoted and attentive. He sends someone every hour to ask me if everything's all right. But I can't even remember a time when we were together. Just the two of us. Recently, he spends a lot of time here and in other clubs. When he's with me, he's nervous and preoccupied.
Why is that? Don't you think it's strange?
I don't think it has anything to do with the threats. It started earlier.
Any ideas about a cause?
None. Maybe it's stress. Ibn's working on doing more and more business legally. That's kind of hard for someone like him.
Is he trying to get himself out of the underworld?
Maybe.
That's interesting. Thank you. Deep behind the diamond skin lies the truth. It doesn't matter how hard Natasha's trying to hide it. She's scared. Now I must concentrate to finally find out what I want to know. What was in those threats, exactly?
The message itself is not a threat. It's just a word.
But a word again and again is threatening.
Exactly.
So,
You really don't have any idea which word could be used for a woman like me?
I guess I do. Yes, I think I know what it could be.
Whore.
Oh.
Cat got your tongue? Am I right? You heard it. I said what you were thinking. And yes, that was in the message. That was printed on the paper and painted on my wall in giant red letters.
Well, thank you for your honesty.
Was ist mit Film? Das soll ich nach Filmer fragen.
What about Filmar? Is he here because of you?
Mr. Lowe helped me before, and yes, he was the first I approached.
You've managed to curb my enthusiasm a little.
Doesn't keeping two irons in the fire give me a better chance? But you don't have to worry. He didn't find anything. And he's not interested anymore, no matter how much I offer to pay him.
Why?
You'll have to ask him.
Machen wir.
I think I'll do that.
Wen haben Sie im Verdacht? Das da.
So it's not a fan and not an inside job. What do you suspect?
Aren't you supposed to know that?
Usually, yes. But I've got nothing to go on. And you don't have a hunch.
Maybe I do. But first, I want to know if you'll even
Ja,
accept
klar.
my case.
I'm here, aren't I?
That's true, but I must know if I can trust you.
Klar kannst du.
The proof of the pudding is in the eating.
I wish it was that simple.
Natasha is a mysterious woman, but I must gouge out at least one of her secrets. Enough games. It's time to know why I'm here.
Wieso Minus? Das war doch
Stop
gut.
beating about the bush. How do you know Molly?
I'm prepared for that question, but it's still not easy.
You knew very well that if you threw in the name of my wife, I'd come to you no matter how vague and suspicious the case was. I just want to know if you're simply a manipulator or you're really that desperate.
I really know her. I'm not lying.
Oh, really? How? Were you a nurse, too? Forgive me, but I don't think so.
Don't be rude and so cynical, Sonny.
I'm sorry, but that's me when feline claws are at my throat.
Molly is an old and good friend of mine. She has nothing to do with this, but I knew that if I didn't mention it to you, you wouldn't have come.
Yeah, Natasha, you're right there.
I knew you were a decent fowl, that you would help me. That's what you're famous for.
Don't go there. Flattery doesn't work.
Look, forgive me. I shouldn't have brought your wife into this.
You're right, you shouldn't have. But to be honest, I don't think she's my wife anymore. On paper she is, but I haven't seen her in years.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Really?
I did. I knew. I checked you out before I sent Deborah.
Pluck me. This case is getting more and more intriguing.
So.
What exactly do you want from me?
You are really as good as they say you are. And I'm not selling lucky dips, Sonny. Find them, whoever they are, and
Whatever it takes?
not exactly, but something like that.
You know, if I didn't see the speck of fear behind the confidence shining in your eyes, I wouldn't take the case.
I'm not afraid.
You're terrified, Natasha. Don't be ashamed.
You must solve this. As soon as you can. Money's not an issue.
Na, na? Boah, das ist ja immer auch so schlecht. Trotzdem. Naja, komm.
Just one more thing, Sonny.
Natasha?
Please, come to 37 Rochester Street in Flower Town tonight. I'd like to show you something that could be of a great help in your investigation.
I was afraid this was coming. Why there? Why not here and now?
It's something I keep hidden there. I won't take the risk of Ibn or one of his men seeing it.
Isn't Ibn too dangerous to keep secrets from?
Sonny, a woman is naked without her secrets. I knew you would understand.
Oh yeah, I understand everything. So, when do we meet? The night is almost over.
I'll be there in an hour. Don't be early, and don't be too late.
Look, Natasha, you know,
Please, this is very important to me.
sure, I get it. I'll be there.
Thank you.
Until later, Natasha.
Goodbye, Sonny.
So, was haben wir? Fragen? Also, fragen Sie noch.
Why Why did you name it the Tsar Club when you took over? It was the Millions before.
Maybe you can guess my origins from my name and my accent. I come from the eastern Tsardom of Stavonia.
Stavonia.
Feel it's
Alter.
not the case here in Clawville.